And we are here, and it's Wednesday, September 14th, 2022, and I'm Reverend Karen Gray with Unity Center, DC. I'm just arriving and taking a nice, comfortable, deep breath upon arrival, and I invite you to do the same. Just that kind of thoughtful breath that transitions us into this moment of meditation. I'll be sharing some remarks and then sharing my screen for sort of a different kind of meditation, but not wildly different. I mean, one thing that we tend to do when we go into meditation is go into silence. And that's what I want to talk about today, about what does it mean to go into the silence. It seems like silence is the absence of something, but it's not just the absence of something. Silence is actually a resource, a powerful, loaded resource for us. Certainly in music, the space between the notes is really important. The silence is a thing of value. And in our time with one another, silence represents, well, actually also in our time on our own, it represents the presence of possibility. One interesting thing about silence is that it's attention getting. Of course, we know that loud volume is attention getting, but one of my early lessons years ago as a public speaker was how to handle the distraction that would come when a couple of people in the room, in the audience, were chatting with each other. Rather than honor my impulse to talk more loudly, to talk over them, I learned to soften my voice and maybe even build in surprising, unusual little pauses, because that bit of silence would actually be more attention getting than more volume. Now, when we speak about silence, think about this. It's a code word, isn't it? It's not really silence that we're after. And here I want to share something. Okay. I'm going to share my screen. How's that working? You can ignore the 0.3 for me. That's kind of an inside joke, okay? But let's go to this. When I sit on my back porch, which I try to do pretty much every day, every morning, I'm there for the silence. But it's not really silence. There are a lot of sounds. I might hear the sound of my neighbor's air conditioning or air conditioner, right? There are a lot of birds making noises. I'm not too far from National Airport, so I might hear an airplane. I feel like I'm in the silence, but there's a lot of sound. It's just that it's wordlessness. You see that difference? It's wordlessness, not silence. I'm hanging out there usually with my cat Pino, and it's that there's not words grabbing our attention. We can actually kind of disappear into the various sounds that are part of our experience in that moment. An important thing to remember about silence is that no matter what's going on, silence is available. This kind of silence anyway, that wordlessness, because even if there's noise, even if there's a crowd, even if there's busy activity, we can find that wordless space somehow, quiet our minds, and resist the, all the inputs of our phones and our calendars and social media and the people around us. And there's so much power in that. And I do think it's funny that I'm using a lot of words to talk about this notion of wordlessness. But I'm done with that now, and we're going to go into meditation. and spend some time in this kind of quiet. We'll do this for about 10 minutes and it'll be just lightly guided. So I invite you to be comfortable, maybe even shift just a little bit so that you get even more comfortable. And invite that wordless, spacious time in. The breath is so helpful and supportive for this. So you may begin with an intentional breath. Or two. Becoming one with the silence, welcoming it and embracing it, being embraced by the silence. If or when you notice that your mind has wandered, you start again with an intentional breath. Love that intentional breath that you might feel in your nostrils or in your throat. or in the lifting of your chest. When you're aware of the wordlessness, that silence, it doesn't matter if you're in a room by yourself or in a crowded cafe. You actually have a chance to enjoy the companionship of yourself, your higher self, even. When we attend to the silence, we give ourselves a gift. Silence is attention grabbing. Let silence get your attention. Find moments for that. Any old random moment, maybe even a stressful moment when you feel like you need it. It's always there for you. Take note of the peace that's given to you by this silence. Affirm that it is part of you. When you're ready, take a nice deep breath. Maybe stretch a little if you want to, and open your eyes. And we are here. Thanks for joining.